Good morning. Welcome to the corner. It is Monday morning. Another week, another beautiful week. We made it through the weekend. I hope you are looking forward to this week. I hope you have some wonderful goals set for yourself this week. Today, we are talking about wellness, the true meaning of self-care. Wellness, the true meaning of self-care. Wellness can seem like that sounds like a big thing, but we are going to break that down before we get off this morning, and I'm going to identify some specific areas in your life that I'm talking about when we talk about wellness, that comes from an agency which we call SAMHSA. Some people say SAMHSA, but they have identified 8 areas of wellness. I tend to agree with them. But that is what we're talking about. Self-care. Self-care encourages you to maintain a healthy relationship with yourself. That's right, a healthy relationship with yourself. The number 2 premise that I talk about and will keep talking about after your spiritual relationship and your spiritual growth is your relationship with yourself. So that's what self-care actually encourages you to do. Excuse me, there are several benefits of self-care. There's healthier relationships with other people in your life because you're actually able to have a healthy relationship with yourself. So overall improved health, you're able to integrate discipline into your life. And remember, love equals discipline. You have a better relationships with other people because you feel better. Your tank is full, your buffet is full. So you're not running around on fumes trying to perform at work, trying to perform at home, trying to be a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, a auntie, a uncle, a grandmother, a grandfather, a professional, a leader, a manager. You're not running on fumes trying to do all of that. So it does promote balanced living. Balanced living. It does promote balanced living. Being able to focus on your own personal growth, kind of organize your goals, those things that are important to you. That is all what that is what some of the benefits of self-care: being productive, being organized, feeling balanced. Okay, being able to stay motivated and focused on those things that are important to you. Definitely allows you to be present in relationships. Present. What do I mean by that? I mean that you're able to stop all the chaos that's going on around you and be able to be present with your partner. Sit down, be present, practice empathy, active listening, being able to express your needs. You can turn your brain off long enough. You cannot consider yourself long enough to sit and be present, be in the same moment in time with your partner. That is a precious, precious activity. That is a precious thing to do. And it may take some practice because oftentimes, when you wake up in the morning, your mind takes off. And I've said this before, there are thousands and thousands of thoughts you have every day that you're not even aware of, but they're happening, and and they can rob you of your ability to be present. Okay, so might be a good exercise for you to try this week, as it relates to taking care of your relationship with others, right? So some people think that self-care equates to selfishness. I can't tell you the number of people that come when we start talking about boundaries, or we start talking about telling people no, or issues on codependency, that people tend to equate self-care, me taking care of myself, with selfishness. Self-care, people, is not selfishness. Well, how can that be? Well, after the important relationship of aligning your spiritual values, the next important relationship is the one that you have with yourself. Okay. Self-care is not coming from the place or from a place in your heart that says, I don't care about anybody else. I don't care about anything. I am not going to pay attention to my responsibilities or the other important things in my life, the other important people in my life. Self-care is not coming from that place. Self-care is coming from the place that, guess what? If you don't take time to take care of you, build a relationship with yourself in these areas of wellness that we will talk about in just a few moments. If you don't do that, you will not be able to give what needs to be given in these other life areas. Does that make sense? That's the heart of where I'm coming from when I talk about self-care. It is not, let me forget everybody. Let me forget grandmama. I'm gonna stop visiting grandmama and auntie. I'm gonna not go to the family reunion because it's all about me. I'm just thinking about me, and it's me. I'm the only important person on the world, on the planet. It's all about me. That's not the heart that I'm talking about. It's not the heart I'm talking about. There are people in your life that love you. There are people in your life that count on you. There are people in your life that need you. But if you don't take care of yourself, think of it like that. If you don't take care of yourself, then what is it exactly that you have to give them other than frustration, irritability, anger, fatigue? That's what you're going to be giving them if you're not taking care of yourself. And whose responsibility is that? It's yours. You got to own it. You got to own it. And at times, at times, even for me, at times, it's hard to maintain that discipline, right? Distractions come in, things happen, people around you get sick, family members transition. There are things that come into your life that can cause significant distractions to you being able to maintain this walk of self-care, this journey of self-love. I'm aware of that, and it has happened to me. And that's okay because you're human and you're going to have feelings. It's okay. But you do have to get yourself back on track. And you do that because you love yourself and you want to take care of yourself. Okay. So just wanted to clarify that it's not from a selfish place at all. It's because you have the awareness that in order to be the blessing that you're supposed to be, right? We all have gifts. We all have gifts. And part of the beautiful thing of having that, taking care of that first relationship with your spiritual father, however, whatever that belief system is for you, is knowing your gifts, the things that you possess, that you are supposed to be blessing others with, right? But when there's frustration, when there's irritability, when there's fatigue, when there's a lack of balance, when there's, you're feeling overwhelmed all the time, when you're angry all the time, it's very hard for those gifts to be displayed, right? It's very hard for those gifts to be present in your relationships with other people. They're definitely going to be difficult for them to be displayed in relationships with romantic partners. Okay, so self-care, that relationship with yourself, just kind of helps undergird that. But everybody has gifts. Everybody's supposed to be using those gifts. You need to know what yours are. So when we talk about when we talk about this concept of wellness, wellness is broad. Wellness is a big topic. But these are the areas that I want you to think about. And I'll define them, I'll identify them, and then I'll define them. But the 8 dimensions of wellness is what SAMHSA calls it. SAMHSA is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They have a website. They have lots of wonderful information on their website. You can go to their website and learn more about these areas of wellness. But we're going to talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness. as part of self-care. So the true meaning of self-care, that's kind of the topic that we're talking about, the true meaning of self-care. So there's emotional wellness, financial wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, occupational wellness, physical wellness, intellectual wellness, and yes, even environmental wellness. Okay. So obviously, I would be very concerned as a licensed therapist about your emotional wellness. So it is defined here as the ability to cope effectively with life and create satisfying relationships. Coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. So if you had to give yourself a grade, let's say, well, maybe not a grade, so let's say 1 to 10. If you had to rank each one of these, this is what I want you to think about. 10 being Kim, Coach K is perfect. I don't need to work on anything. That's a 10. 1 is this is a life area that I'm really struggling with. I have not created any type of habits or rituals for myself in this area. I do not practice any type of discipline in this area. I don't have any resources in this area. I don't read up in this area. I do absolutely nothing in this area. Okay, so emotional wellness, that's the first one. Coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. What would you give yourself? 1 to 10. Just think for a moment. How well do you think you're doing in that life area? Now, one thing that we will talk about more on Wednesday are specific ways. We'll get into more detail about specifically what these might look like. I would like you to, you can ask questions about these life areas, specific questions about these life areas, or challenges that you're having in those life areas, and we can talk about that Wednesday as well. Okay, so we started with emotional. Now, next, let's talk about financial wellness. Financial wellness is very, very important. And as far as relationships are concerned, finances, couples who have a difficult time agreeing on finances, money management, budgets, that is a huge challenge for couples to get on the same page. You know, everybody wasn't raised differently. Money means different things to people. Money means different things to people. And some people grew up not understanding the importance of learning how to manage money or understanding the power of money, if that makes sense. So you bring 2 people together and you think you're on the same page until you get into that relationship and you realize that the person that you dated, the person that you saw, you didn't know the nuances of how they actually handled their money or their views on money. That can be a challenge that hasn't been discussed, and then you get married and now you realize that your partner's views on money and how they manage money, or how, you know, it looked like they were managing their money until you got married and you saw that they were robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they say. Okay, so financial wellness, satisfaction with current and future financial situations. Now, the problem that tends to come up the most in people in relationships is this part about future planning. The vision for future planning is very different. So if the future of planning is different, then how people spend their money, how disciplined they are over their money in the present, is not going to match somebody who is more future, you know, goal oriented. They're thinking about retirement. They're thinking about kids having to go to school. They're thinking about what their children are going to need in the future. So it does, people who are able to be disciplined in that area, that's what they're thinking about. But you do have people who simply live in the present, and they're not thinking any further than tomorrow. So a future planner with an instant gratification person who's focused on instant gratification, I want what I want now. I'm not really thinking about later as it relates to my money. You can imagine the problems that can cause in a relationship. But that is what we mean by financial health. So you are able to think about and manage your current financial situation, and you are also able to consider and plan for future financial situations. Okay. Social, developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. 1 to 10, where are you with that? Where are you with developing and having a well-supported support system, a well-developed support system? Do you have a support system, or are you out here just winging it and saying, just gonna keep my head down and just make it through it? You can try that, but you are not an island unto yourself. And it's life is much more fulfilling when you're able to have those types of intimate connections with other people. Spiritually, expanding your sense of purpose and meaning in life. So that is that first relationship that I say is so important. It's important for a lot of reasons, but that is one of them. It's where you get your purpose from, right? It's what your purpose, your motivation, understanding of your gifts, your drives. What are you committed to? What do you wake up in the morning for? You wake up in the morning and think you just here for some random reason? You're here for just yourself. You still alive just for you. There's not something that you're supposed to be doing. You're not part of a bigger purpose, part of a bigger mission. I'd ask you to consider that. When you wake up in the morning, what's motivating you? And I hope it's not just, "Ooh, I don't want to be late for work," right? But what's really motivating you that day? So expanding your sense of purpose and meaning, having that connection with the higher power, I would add that in there. Occupational wellness. This is important. Some people, like I said, you get up and the thought is, I don't want to be late for work. I don't want to be late for work, but gosh, I really dread having to go into this hellhole I'm about to go into today. Okay, so let's remember how powerful your thoughts are and how in self-care, you managing your thoughts, how you're saying what you're saying to yourself, very important. So occupational health, personal satisfaction, and enrichment derived from one's work. Where are you with that? Let's remember that we are rating ourselves 1 to 10. How fulfilled are you at work? Or is it just a job? Is this a stepping stone to get to where you want to be? Are you content with just having a job? Or are you challenging yourself to come out of your comfort zone and find something that you really connect with on a daily basis? Can you identify your meaning or the value that you bring to your job every day? If you can't, I would ask you to consider that. What do you think is your value? What do you think is the value, the meaning, the purpose that you bring to your work every day? That's important. That's important. And it's important for you, not what other people think. It's what you think. Your thoughts are the ones that matter the most. Okay, I'm going to speed up just a little bit because I'm almost out of time. So physical wellness. Everybody understands physical wellness. Everybody, I don't think I need to even talk about physical wellness because everybody understands how important it is to keep your body moving. Everybody understands that. It's the discipline and the commitment to actually do it, to actually integrate it and have it a part of your life. But physical wellness, recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. Physical activity, diet, not as in dieting, but what are you putting in your body? Sleep and nutrition. 1 to 10, what would you give yourself? If you had to set a goal for the rest of this year, what would that be in that area? We're talking about true self-care. all aspects of yourself, thinking about all aspects of yourself, what would you do? 1 to 10, just something to think about. Now, granted, again, I am not here, again, I'm just reminding you, I'm not here before you saying I have all this together. I understand the difficulties in maintaining a balance in all of these, right? But that is what I will be talking about more in webinars. This is what we talk about. This is one thing that I hope to support in the support groups that we have, because it is hard to do by yourself. It helps to have accountability. It helps to have camaraderie. It helps to feel like you're a group and you have support. You have people coming together with common goals, common vision to keep you encouraged. Not that they are responsible for keeping you encouraged, but it is really a blessing to go somewhere and be encouraged by other people. That is truly a blessing. So physical, that's a big one, guys. That's a big one. Let's remember, you are baking a cake. This is what I tell my clients. You are baking a cake, particularly, and I guess because this is a good visual because you can see it. You can look around and see it. But you are baking a cake with how you are taking care of your body. And if you mess around and put the wrong thing in your cake, you are going to pay for that. You will be 50 years old feeling and looking like you're 70, or you'll be 60 and you will be looking and feeling like you're 80, 85 years old. Why? Because you didn't take care of your body. Okay, so wellness, the true meaning of self-care, includes you making a commitment about how you're going to take care of your body, because you only have one. I think I said that last week. Intellectual, this is the big one. I like this. Intellectual wellness, and it's one you may not even think about much, but intellectual wellness, recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. How are you expanding knowledge and skills? How are you challenging yourself intellectually to stay stimulated and grow? On a scale of 1 to 10, this is what I'm asking you to do with me this morning. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing that? How well do you think you're doing that? And last but not least, environmental. Now, when I heard environmental wellness, I was curious. And I was like, okay, what is that? What are we talking about exactly? Okay, SAMHSA says good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being. When I hear that, I think about personally, and I can also think about environmental globally, like planet. How am I connected to environmental wellness globally? How am I connected to environmental wellness in my personal spaces? How organized are my personal spaces? How well kept, how clean, how organized are these spaces? So this is my space at home. Excuse me. This is my space at work. Am I connected globally to environmental projects, environmental missions? Do I buy in? But where do I fit in on that piece? Again, this is 1 to 10. So, 1, not connected at all. Kim, tell you the truth, hadn't even thought about it. 10, you feel that you are very connected. Maybe you have a home where you recycle. You are very conscious of not, plastic. Plastic is, it's a great product, but it is not great for the planet. But you have an awareness of the footprint that you're leaving. That's the big picture. You run your home in such a way that you maintain that same awareness. And again, personally, what do your personal spaces look like? Is there clutter everywhere? Are things not organized? Your brain visually responds to areas that are not organized. You ever notice how much better you feel after you do spring cleaning, or after you change out your winter, summer clothes? I don't know if you have to do that. I do. My closet's not that big, so you have to change out winter, summer clothes, and you color coordinate your closet, and things just look organized. Everything has a place. you actually do feel better. Your brain responds to that. Your brain likes organization, it likes structure. Okay, so these are the 8 areas of wellness I would like you to think about this week: emotional, financial, social, spiritual, occupational, physical, intellectual, environmental. Now, I don't want you to leave today feeling overwhelmed. Like, Coach K, are you serious? How in the world am I supposed? Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't climb Mount Everest in a day. Okay. It's all about integrating. It's all about integrating. How do you integrate this? One at a time. How do you integrate this? So that's what we will talk a little bit more about on Wednesday at 6 p.m. I do want to remind you guys, I don't think I've ever said it, but I think I should make you aware that the webinars that I've been talking about, they do start April the 12th. April the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and the 17th, I believe. I have to check. I think it's the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, 15th, and the 17th, but I do see a date here for the 10th. So actually, I think my first wellness self-care webinar is on the 8th, April the 8th. At any rate, you can confirm these dates at CoachKKorner.com. They will be, you can purchase them individually, or you can purchase them in pairs and sign up. So they are 1 for $40. They are 1 for $40, 2 for $50, I believe. But all that information is on Coach K Corner. But I do want you to know that those webinars do start April, the first one being April the 8th, the 10th, and the week of the 12th. So you can check out my calendar on CoachK.com on the events and plan to join me there. Feel free to continue to send me in questions. You guys have a great week. Thank you for joining me in the corner, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.